Hello and welcome back to our podcast for some more rambling about baseball with me and Sam. Um, Hello Sam.
Hi.
This week is the trade deadline. Actually, it's not this week, is it?
No, it's next week, but it's coming up. It's about a week away.
Yeah. So yeah, pretty much this week, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah, it's
Not.
soon.
Yeah.
It's all that people, the baseball media, uh, in quotation marks, are talking about,
Yeah.
or not talking about, as the case may be.
So maybe we'll talk or not talk about it as well.
Yeah,
Uh,
we'll talk about it not actually really anything happening.
yeah, because that is seems to be the main thing. Is a lot of talk about what might happen, but usually, but by this point, I'm pretty sure there has usually been some activity, um, but we haven't really had any.
Yeah, so I think the other thing that's been noticeable is the reporting, or again, lack of, is the reporting's not got any further than X had scouts at this game. And it's
Yeah,
like, well, yes, Major League Baseball teams have scouts at loads of games all the time.
yeah. There's not been any talk of any sort of negotiations or anything.
No, not for a while. And the main thing has been like, well, Mike Minor's been one of the big ones, and it was like this list of team had
There's
scouts
not
that
exactly even been directly like reports that one team's in negotiations
no, it's just
with another
there
team.
were scouts at that game, which this might be being slightly cynical, feels a bit like manufactured news to me because there are scouts at games all the bloody time.
Yeah,
And I think like there's a bit of a leap going from there was a scout at that game to they're definitely going to be interested in trading for them. And there's been no movement on that front so
no,
far. I mean, um, there's just this huge gap as far as we can tell between what the handful of selling teams slash teams on the border want and what the buying teams have
yeah.
any interest in giving up.
Well, I think like we've discussed quite a bit is there's been like a shift maybe over the last couple of years from the people valuing prospects, particularly like their like top end prospects
Yeah,
very highly. Well, I think after based like the Cubs and Astros, particularly when they won the World Series by doing a rebuild and um, bringing through prospects and stuff, is that basically a lot of teams have now started doing that. Decided that that is now the way they're going to do stuff. Get a winning team is by rebuilding,
yeah.
and also a part of that is that teams that do have prospects uh, really do not want to give them up for absolutely anything, pretty much.
No, they're valued to the point of being more valuable than almost any major leaguer, which is just it's gone too far as far as I'm concerned. It's got this point where teams just won't. A lot of them have like five prospects that we just won't deal for anything,
Yeah,
even if it's like a glaring need
well,
like a
that's
major.
that's like what the Dodgers have said, isn't it? With their, I don't know if there's explicitly said that all their top five are untouchable, but I think they pretty much said that because there was talk of them they going for a left-handed reliever a while ago, and it was like Felipe Vasquez and Will Smith, the
Yeah.
Giants, and I think the Pirates GM didn't he said that they'd want two of those top five guys.
So Felipe Vasquez is actually under team control
Yeah,
for 4 years.
and he's what?
I think he must. I didn't realize this, but he must be given an extension.
So he's got so that doesn't seem like ridiculous at all.
5.75, 7.75, and then two 10 million team options in 2022 his age 30 season and 2023 his age 31 season. Um,
And he's been like very good for a while, hasn't he? Now
yes, I mean he's been
like
back to back All
under
Star,
under two ERA this year actually.
back to back All Star, and in 2017 he wasn't an All Star, but he was really really good. He had 5.6 hits per nine in 2017. Um,
Yeah, and he's got. It looks like he's been better this year than he has ever. But he's basically consistently good for a while, and he's under team control. And like when you compare that to a few years ago,
the
the
famous
famous
Rogers,
Aroldis Chapman trade, which was
but
for
even the
half a
Andrew Miller
season.
one actually, the Andrew Miller
Yeah,
one they got.
because that was a bit of control, so maybe that's a better comparison, maybe. But like,
Yeah,
This is like one of the best relievers, and well, particularly left-handers who seem to be at a premium.
he's 28 years old.
Yeah,
Just turned
under control, and it's like that's not unreasonable at all. I don't think to ask for we're two like top 100 prospects.
Yeah.
Two top 100 prospects in baseball like seems not ridiculous, because when you think about when the Cubs traded Gleyber Torres for like a couple
week of Aroldis
Chapman.
Yeah,
It's like Gleyber Torres then was almost the equivalent of like asking for like Wander Franco now.
Yeah,
really, it was like
just seems like a different
he
planet.
was just like the consensus like best prospect in baseball at that point.
So this is why I think in the next week or so there is a chance that we just don't see major moves. Everyone might be playing a game. It might be that eventually it's going to break and all of these moves do happen, but they're so far apart. Like we're talking about, there are different universes here. The teams that are considering buying and the teams that are selling, like even to meet in the middle, they've both got to go a hell of a long way.
Yeah.
I mean, Vasquez clearly isn't getting dealt, is he? I can't see how he gets dealt.
Well, I think the issue is as well, particularly as in the National League, is there's a lot of teams that are sort of in it, or have like worked their way in it, and they sort of don't have to sell.
No.
At all.
No, so there's no one under pressure to sell. I think we might have gone through this in our last podcast to an extent, but basically, like the teams who have stuff, none of those are in the your season is screwed. You've got free agents. You've got to deal with them for whatever you get. So it's just like the loads of the guys that are being talked about as well are under club control for a while. So one's like Marcus Stroman pitching really well.
The only ones that have got free agents are in it now.
Yeah,
like the Giants. The big one is that a couple of weeks ago that was talked about as the Bumgarner and Will Smith were the main things being traded, and possibly the Giants would trade away more of their bullpen.
Yeah.
But now it's like they've got possibly the best bullpen in baseball, which is carrying them to a lot of wins at the moment.
Yeah, I don't. They won't trade either of those two.
Yeah, I don't think that. It seems like they're absolutely not selling now. And it's sort of similar with like Trevor Bauer and the Indians, to be honest. That the Indians are now in a wild card spot. I think, well, as of yesterday.
Yeah.
When I last looked, but you've got the combination of the teams that do have free agents are actually competitive at the moment, and the other teams like Stroman at the Blue Jays, who seems to be one of the more likely starters to get traded, has another year.
Got a 3.06 ERA.
So they're not being
starts.
forced to sell, and the teams that want to buy are not willing to offer anything that's.
No, I mean a player like him. So
value.
He's basically pitching at an all-star level. In fact, he was an all-star this year. I didn't realise. He's pitching at an all-star level. He's been good throughout quite a lot of his career. Didn't have a good year last year, admittedly, but shrug, injuries a bit as well. And he's got another year of control. What seems reasonable for him is just not happening. And why should they deal him? There's no reason for them to deal him here. The other thing I think I've mentioned to you before with the Blue Jays particularly is they're not exactly crying out for reinforcements in their farm, are they? I don't think they care.
For any sort of prospect return that's going to make a difference to their farm at the moment, it's going to have to be a lot.
Yeah.
And some of it, I guess, is on the verge of not being their farm anymore, but they're like young players. They don't need a top level, AAA prospects at the moment, do they?
No.
And stuff. They're going to need like a big package for it to be worthwhile. And people just don't want to do that anymore, it seems.
Yeah, so I think there's a wider, you could write a book on the wider implication of the fact that player movement in general in MLB is kind of turgid at the moment. And this is like another example of it. This is like free agency just didn't move. There's another stalemate here where effectively the buyers and sellers are just not playing the same game.
Yeah.
No one's moving, and they're not even close. So it's I might be proved horrendously wrong, and we do a podcast right at the start of August, and everyone's been traded. half the league or different teams. But
I mean,
it does look likely.
some stuff's probably going to happen.
But I think some of the bigger moves are going to be like upside relievers. Not like guys who've had a good year, but guys who've probably got stuff or have been good before. Or even one of them actually from a Giants perspective that I think they'll trade for probably almost nothing, but would be like possibly a clever pickup for someone. Derek Holland got designated for assignment, and he'd been absolutely rubbish as a starter this year. But went to the bullpen and was holding lefties to like ridiculously low batting average. That's the sort of thing that I wouldn't be surprised we see like loads of those moves.
Yeah.
But there anything more?
Because a lot of teams that are really struggling their bullpens, or a lot of teams that are meant to be competitive, like the Red Sox and like the Cubs hasn't been great for most of the year. Like even just little moves like that might are going to make a difference, aren't they?
Yeah.
Don't you think that like Mike Minor would get traded though? Or not Wads? I think he's got another year of control after this, actually. But like, I guess it's a similar situation a bit with Stroman, isn't it?
Yeah, although I suppose in his case there's less of
because he's been so good this year.
And it's a bit of an anomaly.
Yeah, this is like his peak value. But I guess if no one's willing to pay that peak value, that's sort of relevant as well.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how much I'd be comfortable giving up for Mike Minor if I was a random GM anywhere.
No, you should. I guess almost a bit of the issue is that so many front offices have stopped doing almost stupid deals, haven't they?
Yeah, no one does Ultra Win now.
Yeah, but at the same time, it's like there are a lot of teams that even just Mike Minor for this year of how he's pitching into their rotation would make an absolutely huge difference.
Yeah.
Teams that are on the edge.
Short term, I mean, most teams have like a weakness at the back end of their rotation.
Yeah.
Whether they've got 2 good starters or they've got 3.
Yeah.
Most teams could do with another one.
Yeah, well, Andy's been really, really good.
Yeah. Yeah, well, the way he's pitching this year would be the best on most rotations.
Well, I think part of it as well is the whole situation with no trades happening is this is the first year where they've got rid of waiver trades, isn't it? So a lot of those moves that would have happened afterwards, there would have to be a waiver trade, which then means their value is basically a lot lower. Means that those trades are basically really cheap trades for the buying team. Can't happen anymore. So maybe other people that people like that people would trade for. The selling team is trying to get more for them than they would have before because previously they would have just been a waiver trade.
Yeah,
whereas now that doesn't exist anymore.
They've got slightly more leverage, haven't they?
Now they're in the group with the rest of the trades.
Yeah.
So they're trying to get more for even those sort of guys, which are like the complementary guys that you were talking about before.
Yeah, and it could just be that they're the ones that end up moving.
Yeah. Yeah, because there really is not obvious moves in other places there, because not actually that many good free agents this year, to be honest. It's not a great free agent class either. I mean, Nick Castellanos is one that should get traded, shouldn't he, really? But you've also not really heard much.
No, almost nothing. One of the guys heard is Hunter Pence has been mentioned, obviously a fair bit after his slightly crazy with the Rangers, but he's locked in. You've probably got to go and be a DH somewhere.
Yeah, so that immediately limits half the teams. And also there's not that many buyers in the American League.
And buyers who have a spot at DH, he's looking like the Rays are the ones linked to him. Like, maybe that happens, but I don't know.
Yeah, because also the Rays, I feel like are not going to want to give up much prospect value at all. But those ones, I think, I know it's Hunter Pence free agent after this year.
Yeah, I think so.
Assuming it would be, yeah. So that and Castellanos. Now the Rangers have fallen off.